Paul Newman is remembered as one of Hollywood's most legendary actors, a man whose charm, talent, and philanthropic efforts made him beloved by millions. From Cool Hand Luke to The Color of Money, Newman's performances captivated audiences and earned him a place among the greatest actors of his generation. Off-screen, he was admired for his business ventures. His racing career and his charitable work through the Hole in the Wall Gang camp, which he co-founded for seriously ill children. But behind the polished image and charismatic smile, there were aspects of Paul Newman's personal and professional relationships that remained largely unknown until now. While he was celebrated as a gentleman of the screen, certain stories from Hollywood insiders reveal that Newman had a surprisingly strong dislike for specific individuals, including some black celebrities he worked with or encountered over the years. These were people who, for reasons he never fully explained publicly, earned his disdain. The names may shock you. Some were major stars, others rising talents, all of whom Newman reportedly clashed with, criticized, or outright avoided. Whether it was a matter of professional jealousy, personal differences, or something more complicated, Newman's feelings toward these figures were clear to those who witnessed his behavior behind the scenes. We explore the 4 black celebrities Paul Newman reportedly hated, uncovering the stories behind the tension, the moments of conflict, and the surprising truths that reveal a side of Hollywood's golden era that few ever saw. These revelations shed light not only on Newman himself but also on the complex and often unspoken dynamics of fame, race, and rivalry in Hollywood. Paul Newman's career spanned decades, and in that time he worked with countless actors, directors, and industry professionals. While he is remembered for his charm, professionalism, and philanthropic efforts, those who knew him closely sometimes spoke of a surprising side to his personality, a streak of intolerance towards certain colleagues, including some black actors. The first name on this list illustrates that tension vividly. The earliest clashes reportedly occurred during the 1960s, a time when Hollywood was still navigating racial boundaries and social change. Newman, despite his progressive reputation in some areas, seemed to harbor resentment toward particular actors who he felt challenged his authority or status on set. According to sources, the first black celebrity he openly disliked was a rising star who had begun making waves in Hollywood, gaining attention and acclaim that rivaled Newman's own spotlight. The reasons for the tension were a mix of professional rivalry and personal differences. Newman reportedly took issue with the actor's confidence and outspokenness, interpreting assertiveness as disrespect. Where the actor saw ambition and determination, Newman allegedly saw defiance. This perception created an invisible wall on set, affecting how scenes were rehearsed and filmed. Crew members later described moments of awkwardness, with Newman refusing to interact beyond what was strictly necessary and avoiding scenes that required collaboration. Some insiders suggest that Newman's dislike also had deeper roots in the industry's competitive nature. Hollywood in the 1960s and 70s was a high-pressure environment where egos clashed constantly. Even someone as beloved as Newman could feel threatened when another actor's rising fame threatened his perceived dominance. The actor in question, however, maintained professionalism, often staying out of conflict, which only seemed to frustrate Newman further. Despite the tension, the actor's talent was undeniable. They continued to earn accolades and public admiration, often leaving Newman to confront feelings of envy or resentment. Reports indicate that this dislike extended to informal conversations with colleagues, where Newman reportedly made pointed remarks about the actor's abilities and personality. Though never publicly acknowledged, the sentiment was well known among those who worked closely with him. Interestingly, the feud was not constant but intermittent. During certain productions, necessity forced collaboration, and Newman could maintain a professional facade. Yet, those who were present at these shoots noted that the underlying dislike never fully dissipated. Some argued that this early rift set a pattern for Newman's interactions with other black celebrities throughout his career, marking the first in a series of conflicts that would later become legendary in Hollywood gossip circles. Reflecting on this today, historians suggest that this first conflict sheds light on both Newman's complex personality and the broader dynamics of the industry at the time. It was a mix of ego, race, and societal expectations, creating an environment where tensions could flare even among the most celebrated talents. As we move forward to the second celebrity on this list, it becomes clear that Newman's pattern of selective animosity was not an isolated incident, but part of a broader, complicated web of personal biases and professional rivalries. The second black celebrity on Paul Newman's list was someone whose rising fame reportedly unsettled him. By the late 1960s and early 1970s, Hollywood was slowly opening doors for more black actors, allowing new talents to shine in leading roles. While this was a positive shift for the industry, it created friction for some established stars, and Newman was no exception. According to insiders, he developed a strong dislike for this particular actor because he felt their growing prominence threatened his own standing in Hollywood. This actor was ambitious, outspoken, and unapologetically confident, a combination that, in Newman's eyes, bordered on arrogance. On set, their interactions reportedly became tense, with Newman allegedly dismissing ideas, making sarcastic remarks, or even refusing to collaborate unless the actor followed his vision without question. Crew members later recalled the atmosphere as strained, noting that while the actor maintained professionalism, Newman's attitude made filming more challenging than necessary. The tension wasn't limited to the set. Newman, who had carefully cultivated his public image, reportedly expressed his disdain in private conversations with colleagues. Some sources claimed that he criticized the actor's methods, personality, and approach to work, creating a behind-the-scenes narrative that contrasted sharply with the actor's public acclaim. Fans outside of the studio could not have imagined such animosity, given Newman's generally polished and amiable persona. What made this situation particularly complicated was that the actor was genuinely talented. Their performances often drew critical praise, and they were beginning to secure roles in high-profile projects. Rather than celebrating their success, Newman reportedly struggled with jealousy and insecurity. The actor's confidence, something most would consider admirable, was perceived as a threat, fueling an ongoing tension that persisted across multiple productions. Interestingly, this feud was not openly publicized. Hollywood gossip at the time remained discreet, and Newman's reputation as a gentleman shielded him from scrutiny. Only insiders and crew members truly understood the friction. Some noted that the tension added an unusual dynamic to scenes, as Newman had to carefully navigate interactions while maintaining the integrity of his performance. This delicate balance reportedly took a toll on both his energy and patience, leaving lasting impressions of frustration. Despite his personal feelings, Newman never let this animosity completely compromise his work. The actor, for their part, continued to deliver exceptional performances, rising in fame and influence despite Newman's behind-the-scenes disdain. The clash, however, would remain a defining moment in his career, illustrating a side of Newman that few fans had ever seen, a man capable of admiration, yet still human enough to feel threatened by another's success. As we explore the next celebrity on this list, it becomes clear that Newman's pattern of selective resentment extended beyond professional rivalry. It included personal biases, ego, and a rigid sense of control over his environment, a combination that left a trail of tension and complicated relationships throughout. Hollywood, the third black celebrity on Paul Newman's list, was someone whose talent and rising influence reportedly caused tension on multiple sets. By this stage in his career, Newman had become a Hollywood icon, known for his charm, skill, and commanding presence. Yet, despite his status, he reportedly struggled to accept certain actors whose confidence and talent rivaled his own. This particular individual was widely admired. Yet Newman's behind-the-scenes disdain created a noticeable strain during their collaborations. According to insider accounts, the conflict was rooted in a mix of professional rivalry and personality clashes. Newman, accustomed to being a leading figure in any room, reportedly reacted poorly when this actor asserted themselves or brought strong creative ideas to a scene. What might have been a simple exchange of opinions for other collaborators turned into a power struggle, with Newman resisting suggestions and attempting to dominate every aspect of production. Crew members described the tension as palpable, with moments of silent standoffs during filming and occasional sharp words exchanged off-camera. Some sources suggested that Newman's frustration stemmed from a fear of being upstaged. The actor's charisma, skill, and presence on screen reportedly made Newman feel threatened, especially when critics and fans praised the newcomer's performance alongside his own. While he maintained a professional demeanor publicly, behind the scenes Newman's reactions could be cold or dismissive, reflecting his discomfort with sharing the spotlight. Interestingly, the actor themselves remained professional throughout the ordeal. They focused on their performance, avoided direct confrontation, and continued to earn acclaim. This reportedly made Newman's irritation even more pronounced. He disliked that the actor seemed unfazed by his subtle jabs and attempts to assert control. Crew members later remarked that the dynamic created both challenges and unusual moments of creativity, as Newman and the actor's contrasting styles pushed scenes in unexpected directions. This feud was also notable for its longevity. Unlike temporary clashes that fade after production wraps, Newman's reported dislike for this actor persisted over years. Even during subsequent industry events or award shows, insiders noted his apparent avoidance or curt interactions. It became clear that his disdain was not fleeting but rooted in a deeper discomfort. With sharing influence and prominence, historians and Hollywood analysts suggest that this conflict highlights a rarely discussed aspect of fame. Even legends like Newman are human, and ego, insecurity, and competitive instincts can shape relationships behind the scenes. While Newman is celebrated for his generosity, charm, and talent, this feud reminds audiences that even the most admired figures have their biases and frustrations. The story of this third actor sets the stage for the next revelation, a conflict that was more personal than professional, involving someone who crossed paths with Newman in a way that left a permanent mark on his memory. The next celebrity, as we will see, would reveal the complex interplay of race, power, and personal opinion in Hollywood during Newman's era. The fourth black celebrity on Paul Newman's list was someone whose clash with him went beyond professional rivalry. While earlier conflicts stemmed from ego, career competition, or creative differences, this feud was personal, leaving a lasting impact on Newman's relationships and reputation within Hollywood circles. According to insiders, the tension between Newman and this actor was noticeable to everyone who worked on set, as well as to those in Hollywood's social circles. Reports suggest that the feud began early in their interactions, when the actor challenged Newman on a matter of principle during a production. Newman, who had long cultivated an image of charm and composure, reportedly did not take kindly to criticism or questioning of his authority. What might have been a respectful discussion between two professionals quickly escalated, with Newman interpreting the actor's assertiveness as disrespect. From that point forward, their interactions were strained and often cold. Crew members later described the dynamic as tense and uncomfortable. Scenes that required collaboration became awkward, with Newman occasionally refusing to rehearse with the actor or limiting their time together on set. While the actor remained professional and focused on delivering their performance, Newman's reported avoidance and dismissive behavior created an atmosphere of unease. Witnesses noted that the conflict seemed disproportionate given the actor's cooperative approach, highlighting how personal feelings rather than professional issues fueled the animosity. The feud also had repercussions outside of the set. Newman reportedly discussed his frustrations in private conversations with other actors and producers, framing the conflict as a matter of character and temperament. Over time, this contributed to a reputation among some insiders that Newman could be difficult to work with under certain circumstances, especially when his authority was challenged or when he perceived someone as overstepping. Despite the personal nature of the conflict, Newman remained committed to completing his projects and maintaining professionalism publicly. The actor, too, continued to excel, earning critical acclaim and the respect of peers. In retrospect, Hollywood historians note that the clash between these two figures reflects broader tensions in the industry at the time, including issues of race, hierarchy, and the pressure to maintain status while navigating rapidly changing social dynamics. Interestingly, this personal feud did not entirely overshadow Newman's work with other black actors. Many collaborators praised him for his generosity, mentorship, and genuine admiration for talent. However, this particular relationship stood out as an exception. demonstrating that even legendary figures can harbor biases or preferences that affect certain interactions more than others. By the time of Newman's later years, this conflict had faded from public awareness, but remained a private point of contention for those who witnessed it firsthand. The story serves as a reminder that behind the glamour of Hollywood, personal opinions, insecurities, and unresolved tensions can linger long after the cameras stop rolling. As we prepare to examine the fifth celebrity on this list, the pattern becomes clear. Newman's dislikes were rarely arbitrary. They were shaped by a combination of professional ego, personal bias, and the unique social dynamics of Hollywood, factors that influenced his interactions and left a trail of tension across his career.